Have you ever woken up one morning and thought to yourself, fuck, I really want a custom mechanical keyboard? If so, welcome on the path of sin. For me, that day happened last summer. I'm not sure how exactly I stumbled upon it, but I saw this keycap set, GMK Ishtar. And that was the inciting incident that sent me down a rabbit hole of mechanical keyboards. Being a huge Fate fan at the time, I dug in, I looked them up, and then I discovered a whole new world, the Geek forum. And down there was all kinds of keycap sets. Really cool ones. Like, there was Rem. And who's Rem? The idea of this really personalized keyboard set representing either your favorite character or something that you really enjoy spoke to me on a level that I couldn't really comprehend at the time. And I think the only reason I gravitated towards it so badly is because I was making my Mixbox. And to do that, I needed to research keycaps and switches. And hilariously enough, it is very difficult to find keycaps. And that was really the crux of the whole thing, was that I had no idea where to get keycaps, and bam, all these beautiful things were in front of me. And so once I finished off Dionysus, I really wanted to get invested into learning about keyboards. And in order to do that, we need to understand the core components of a mechanical keyboard. Those would be the PCB, the plate, the case, the switches, and the keycaps. For the sake of this video, the first half is going to be mostly covering these three things. So we'll start with the PCB. The PCB is essentially the brains of your keyboard. All the functionality is coming from the PCB, also known as the printed circuit board. There's two main things to look out for when you're trying to pick up one for yourself, and that would be the sizing and whether or not it's hot swap or not. The sizing essentially dictates how many keys total you can keep on your keyboard. A standard mechanical keyboard, a full-sized one, would be a 108 key keyboard. Therefore, you want a full-size PCB, but you can get them in smaller form factors which carry less keys. The second thing, whether or not it's hot swap or not, a hot swap PCB allows you to switch out your switches whenever you want. They're loosely fitted in and allow you to take the switches without soldering. The one downside to this, however, is a hot swap PCB has a fixed layout that you're not able to change because of the nature of having hot swappable keys. So you really have to choose between the freedom of switching your keys whenever you want versus the freedom of having a customizable layout that you can adapt. The one upside to a hot swap PCB over a regular PCB, however, is the fact that you don't have to solder anything, and more importantly, you don't have to desolder anything, which is more of a pain in the ass if you do want to switch out your keycaps in the future. Or not keycaps, your switches in the future. The next one would be the plate. The plate is essentially just a big chunk of material that helps keep your switches in line and not to rattle around as much. The main thing the plate offers is it reduces the stress on the PCB, and also it can be made of a material that can make your keyboard heftier, like it actually weighs more, and it affects the sound and overall feel of typing on it. One thing I've frequently heard is a lot of people like brass plates because they offer this nice high-pitched sound to them. However, you kind of want to make your preference. The keyboard that I ended up getting was an aluminum plate, for instance. And the last one is the case. I'm gonna be honest, the case is mostly just there for you to flex. It lets you show off a little bit of personality, and it looks really cool. Realistically though, the case and the previous two components are often sold in tandem, so if you're picking up one, you often get both. But I guess if you are trying to build a truly unique keyboard, you'd want to research these things separately. And some really important things to look for in a case would be, again, like the plate, the material it's made out of, because some people want a light, easy portable case, where other people might want a super hefty case. You can also look at the angle, or if your case allows for different angles of typing, because maybe some people like it at an incline, some people might like it straight on. Overall, it's all up to your preference. As for me, the critical factor that helped me decide what keyboard I ultimately wanted to get was this singular tweet. Telling us that the NK65 was back in stock. Of all the possible keyboard combinations, the NK65 Entry Edition was probably the one I wanted the most, and I really wasn't expecting to get it because it's very rarely on sale. But, as luck would be upon me, I ended up purchasing one. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One would be I really like the 65% layout, and also the color. The purple NK65 looks a lot like a OG original Game Boy Color, and that like semi-transparent purple color scheme is super sexy, and I really love it. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Bachu, or Baku, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, I'm really sorry about that, but they're the person who created the GMK Ishtar keycap set. And recently they've been working on a new keycap set that I've been really looking forward to picking up. However, there's some issues with it, and honestly, it might not be coming out the way we were all hoping to due to some copyright law and whatnot. And so in order to pay respects, I'd like to send a couple of you guys over there to his Discord server, and you can pay your respects for our fallen keyboard set and kiss Ishtar's feet. I'm not kidding. This man has a channel dedicated to Ishtar, and honestly, it's kind of impressive. The one I first saw it. But yeah, his community seems really awesome, and there's a lot of cool people, and you might be able to learn some stuff over there. So hopefully you enjoy it. I like to highlight cool people in communities that help me out, and honestly, since their keycap set is the thing that inspired me to get into keyboards anyway, it felt like a really good pilgrimage to set you guys upon. But without further ado, let's go toss things over back to my past self. This will be a little bit of a long video, so I will provide timestamps down below so you guys can traverse this whole thing however you want. But for everyone else, sit back, grab your tea, relax, and watch as your man descends into madness as he builds and enjoys opening his first ever custom mechanical keyboard. Take care, guys. So hopefully future Avi's already kind of explained everything, but currently it is February 6th, and about a few weeks ago, January 21st, the NK65 came back in stock, which was a big surprise to me because I wanted to get an NK65 entry as my first real foray into the custom mechanical keyboard scene, and I didn't expect to get one because they're usually pretty limited in stock, but praise be the Lord, it happened. So if you can see the package right behind me, that's it right there. It showed up about 2 days ago, but I missed the delivery man. So I ended up having to go to the post office the next day to pick it up, and I was too tired to record that day because I'm way out of shape and I walked to the post office in the rain, and so I'm doing it now. But a little bit of backstory. The reason I picked up the NK65 is because looking at a lot of starter kits, this one seemed the most noob friendly. It's called an entry edition for a reason. The other reason was I was actually planning on not buying a homemade DIY kit. I was actually going to buy a Ducky Mecha Mini, the creator edition, because it comes in purple, and I love purple, if that wasn't obvious. However, they were out of stock until March, and then Novel Keys is just like, hey, you know that sexy NK65 that you want, you should go pick one up. So I did. One thing though, I am not really an unboxing channel, so I don't really have everything set up. I might move some stuff on my desk and see if I can change the angle a little bit and make the whole unboxing experience a little bit better for you guys. Alright, I think this is about the best I can do. Excuse the slight audio difference from the first bit. I had to move my mic over here rather than over here. So it might sound a little odd. If you didn't notice before, sorry that you notice now. But now that I have this bootleg binging with Babish layout, let's do some unboxing. I'm actually kind of happy. This doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, here is the novel key box. Just a brown box. It's got this nice little novel key tape. Hopefully everything's all Gucci. I did have to carry this out in the rain, so I am concerned on that front. If anything is damaged or soaked. So far, all your standard package fare. I'll go pick that up later. Oh great, it's still in the shot. You can notice it the whole time. It's just my receipt. If you're curious, NK65 is about 95 USD. Get a little sticker. You can I blank NK, so you can write whatever you feel about after opening your package. But this thing's got a nice little sleeve to it. Kind of looks like either a fancy box of chocolates or a pack of cigars. I'm more experienced with one of those than the other, but luckily it says which color and whatnot you got. Also, it's made in China, apparently. Be careful when operating a knife. I am a trained Canadian professional. Not really. But you know, you can say whatever you want on the internet until someone fact checks you. But this is how you know for sure that I'm not an experienced unboxing channel. Actually, I haven't seen an unboxing in a while. Do people actually show them opening the package for the first time, or do they just like skip forward and have it already nicely unwrapped for you? Oh well, I'm too excited to stop at this point, so... There we go. Ta-da! Only slightly mangled, don't mind that. Oh, that feels so nice. Comes in this nice little carrying case. Nothing else inside the box. Got that nice little novel key underscore. Kind of matches this little dial on my Go XLR. Very nice. It feels super quality. Like, it's sturdy. It's not too hard, it's a little soft. Let's unzip this bad boy. Thing of beauty. I didn't actually realize it came with a coiled cable by default. It's a nice touch. Nice little carrying straps. Make sure it's nice and secure. A little too secure because these things keep flopping back on themselves. Oh dear. There we go. Has a little bit of a user manual. I say manual, but it's straight up a card. Warning, watch the instructional video at the link below. I guess that's what guides are nowadays. Dude, I miss being a kid and going to the store, and I would buy like a brand new video game, and you'd just read through the instruction manual and the guidebook the whole way through. But nowadays, all you get is a card with a YouTube link. Nothing wrong with that per se, but you know, it leaves a little something to be desired for some people, like myself. So set this aside. And oh, that's such a nice color of purple. Bring this up to the camera. So you can see the cool thing about the NK65 is it's a hot swap PCB. And what that means is essentially all of these little holes, you can put switches in and then just pull them out without actually having to solder. I don't have anything against soldering, but obviously if you solder in the keys, you need a solder sucker, which I don't have, and those things can be kind of pricey, and resoldering something is more of a pain in the ass than soldering it for the first time. This thing feels fairly hefty. It's like maybe a couple pounds. Oh, I didn't show you guys the bottom. Can you focus, Mr. Camera? It says novel keys right there in the acrylic. That's so nice. I'm actually quite in love with this thing already. So for a beginner like myself, I'm not gonna open up this thing. If you're also like me and you're just trying to get into mechanical keyboards, you do not need to touch anything else that's inside this keyboard or this PCB. If you are slightly more experienced, I don't know why you're here, but also thanks for your patronage. I appreciate it. You can go tell me some cool advice in the comments. But yeah, the cool thing about the NK65 Entry Edition is that it comes with the case, it comes with the hot swap PCB, and it also comes with a dampening pad. The dampening pad essentially is going to absorb some of the sound and the rattle of the keys and lower the volume of like your presses, because like a lot of people who are new to mechanical keyboards and heard other people, especially if they got like clicky blue ass MX cherry switches, those things make a lot of noise. So dampening pad, I think this uses a silicone pad. Really helpful. So I don't plan on opening this bad boy up. I'm sure you can find other videos where people do. Also, it's got a USB Type-C right here. Very nice. I'm just gonna check out this cable. One thing I didn't mention is the NK65 is called a 65 because it is a 65% keyboard layout. And I had to learn a lot about keyboard layouts and whatnot. Essentially, a full keyboard is a full keyboard, also known as a 108 key. And then you can go down smaller. You can go to 80%, also known as TKL, which is actually, I can show you two things. I can show you my old keyboard and how much bigger it is compared to this thing. Hello. And also I can show you what the different layout kind of idea is. Like, look at that. It's night and day. Like, let me just move this over to the side and show you how much of my desk mat this takes up. It's insane. Like, if I was playing an FPS or something and I want some arm waving room, not gonna happen with this thing. But if I was using this, you got this whole area now. So if you're a FPS player, this is probably a huge deal for you, is getting a slightly smaller keyboard. If you're using a desk mat like this, if you're using your own mouse pad, it's probably still fine. But the nice bit is you can actually use your mouse much closer, and it's kind of nicer on your like hands. It's less straining than having them all this far apart. But I digress. But that is one of the upsides to buying a smaller keyboard like this. But this is a full-size keyboard. So the reason this is a full-size keyboard is because it has this section right here from the numpad and the arrow keys and whatever this media section is. So a TKL layout would essentially cut out the number pad. It would be everything from here to here. It would be the arrow keys. It would be this little section right here, no numpad. A 60% keyboard would be only the keys and then no F keys. So all the function keys would be gone. And obviously the Chroma has these stupid macro keys that I've never really used. Yeah. But the 65% is slightly different. What I mean by that is it's not just those keys, it also has a, sorry, I'm not really used to this kind of perspective. It has the slots for arrow keys right here. So that's why it's called a 65 right here. It's a 65%. So it'll have all the 60% keys plus 4 arrow keys plus 3 buttons of your choice up here on the side. Which for me is nice because I do use the arrow keys quite a bit for gaming and like drawing programs and whatnot. So that's good. If you can live without it, that's fine. In the future parts, like later me is probably going to explain a lot more. One of the huge headaches with 65% layout, however, is it's not very common. So finding caps for it is difficult. Keycaps generally will fit any switch. So whatever switch I put here, a keycap will fit. The problem is the layout. If you look at the bottom row, excuse me, sorry. You need slightly smaller keys towards this side that are abnormally small, which is kind of a problem. So future me is going to have a headache when his keycaps arrives, and we'll have to figure out how to plug it in. I might flash a graphic here on screen if I'm doing the due diligence that explains the size difference. But upon buying this on January 21st, I also went ahead and picked up some keycaps that I could find. They're not here yet. However, the switches did show up. I think I can grab those real quick. I grabbed some Gateron yellow switches, which I'm going to be putting in this thing. Luckily, yellow and purple complementary colors, so that'll look pretty nice, I assume. Also, I really wanted some linear switches. I think the oranges in here count as linear switches. I'm actually not too familiar. Considering this is a whole learning experience, especially if I do manage to brand this the Path of Sin, which is what I wanted to call it. I want to show you my experience going through a process. But Gateron yellows are very similar to cherry reds. And Dionysus, which is my mix box that I made, uses cherry reds under these caps. Oops. Right there you can see. Red switch. Nice linear basic keycap. And the Gateron yellows feel very similar to these reds, except much smoother. They also have about half of the expected lifetime. I believe cherry switches are like 100 million strokes, but Gatorons are only 50. But the price difference is enough where you could probably buy 3 times as many Gatorons as cherry switches. Shh, don't tell anyone. Since this is my first soiree into the whole thing as well, I'm probably not going to do anything super fancy, which is why I went with this entry edition after all. So I'm probably just going to go switches, board, keycaps, call it a day. But I do want to make an upgrade at some point, and I'll probably be attempting the mythical thing known as lubing your switches, and maybe I'll buy a nicer keycap set. There's also artisan coils that you can buy, which we'll see how that goes down the line. But anywho, future Avi can talk to you about switches. the Avi after that can talk to you about keycaps. I think that's it for me for now. I hope you enjoyed my unboxing. Not an unboxing channel, so please be nice. Take care, guys. Alright. Fair point, fast me. Let's go talk about switches. So there's a lot to talk about with switches, so I'm going to stick to the key points and kind of give you my quick, fast, abridged version of this. And for that, there are 3 main types of switches. There are linear switches, which are very smooth. They go straight up and down, and they're perfect for people who like to go fast and game and whatnot. There are tactile switches, which have a little bump on the stem, which when you press down sends a haptic feedback back to you, and you can feel the tactility of every switch as you bottom it out. This is the best way to describe it is if you remember Generation 1 iPhones, which, yeah, I know this has been a long time at this point, but they would actually vibrate whenever you pressed on an app icon or whatever else, and that was simulated haptic feedback to transition people from going from a actual button to a simulated button on a touchscreen. So anyway, perfect for boomers, I guess. And some people just really like the sensation of tactiles, you know, it's all you. And then there's clicky switches. They make a lot of noise. That's why they're called clicky switches. They're also technically tactile, but I'm sure there's variants of clicky switches that are also linear. They're also produced with a bump that makes a sound when it goes in and out. One thing to note about clicky switches is I hope to God if you like clicky switches, you either live alone or you are in a very, very strong, tight-knit relationship, because holy shit, clicky switches will end any relationship with someone that you're living with. They make a lot of noise. They drive everyone in the house insane. A couple of other quick things to talk about. There is the actuation point of a switch. Essentially, it's how far you have to push down before it registers a key press. There is the spring in a switch. The spring has different weights. So essentially the spring causes you to build up tension, and the more tension the spring has, the harder you have to push down. So some people like really high tension springs that have a higher gram weight. So it's harder to push down. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Everything else you kind of learn on your own and figure out your preferences, because realistically you should get the switch that you like the most, whether that's because of the sound, the feel, the look, or anything else in between, or maybe even some weird Frankenstein abomination combination of multiple switches, which honestly sound really cool, and I'd love to try that sometime, because then you get a real, true, unique switch to you. Yeah, follow your heart. That's switches. Back to Past Me, version 2. Let's go. Welcome back. It has been about a week, maybe a few days, and some more stuff from my keyboard showed up, so we're gonna go right back into this. You can tell it's been a few days because I'm wearing glasses and I've changed my hair and my outfit. So take my word for it. It's about, actually, what day is it today? The 11th. So yeah, let's go back into bootleg Babish mode. Hilariously enough, all I did to change up that layout was this. And ta-da. However, I will probably need to move my microphone back, so give me 1 second. If you're curious as to what I did about this one, well, I pretty much just did this. Sorry if that is ringing out a lot. Just turned it slightly. And then I angled it, not quite out of the shot, but far enough away. So again, I apologize if the audio difference bugs you at all, but it's the best I can do under short notice and without equipment. So first and foremost, there was one thing I didn't do in the last part. This is probably still going to be one video that I should do now, which is plug in the keyboard. Which I think is relatively important. But I did do this once off camera and I was just completely shocked, honestly. Thing is bright as hell. I forgot that this thing even had RGBs because I was so enamored with the beautiful purple case. I don't know. Might be a little too much for the camera to handle. I can tone it back, maybe tilt it at an angle so you can get a really good view of the inside of that puppy. It's actually just like really, really beautiful, honestly. And you can see here that the lights are actually shining through the case, which some people might like, some people might not. The one nice thing about this keyboard, though, is a lot of keyboard companies have their own proprietary software. However, the NK65 uses a open source not webcam, keyboard software called VIA, which I can bring up right here, and that's what it looks like. And the nice thing about VIA is you're able to control the lighting and other options. I believe there's per switch RGB, so if I clicked on an individual button, I'd be able to change the color of it. But for the sake of all of our eyes, I'm gonna crank the brightness down. Maybe not all the way, I'll leave a little bit of light. That's about an acceptable level. But we are gonna probably unplug this for now, because we have to move on to something important. So I mentioned on the last recording a couple days ago that my switches did in fact arrive. And originally I was going to just plug them in, but I have something special planned in mind. But for right now, because my keycaps have arrived, huzzah. Actually, these showed up like a week early, so I'm genuinely shocked. I wasn't planning on recording anything today. I figured might as well just put the keycaps in now and the switches and just give it a test run, because honestly this thing's sitting in my drawer, it drives me nuts. I want to use it so badly. So we're going to do that. Also, one minor mistake that I made in the last recording, there is technically a reason to open this up, and that would be if you wanted to modify it. Again, I suggested probably don't do that if you're a newbie like me. The other thing was, remember that stupid video card, when I was complaining about the guidebooks and lack of packaging material? Has a little bit of a user manual. I say manual, but it's straight up a card. Warning, watch the instructional video at the link below. Yeah, apparently the video in the instruction manual suggests that you unscrew the plate and test the PCB that way. But we're gonna forego that step, and I'm gonna hope that the delivery man gave me an intact board. However, it is very advisable, if you buy a PCB, that you test to make sure that it's working 100% functionally. And in order to do that, it's actually fairly simple. I'm trying to just line this up in a way where you can see it. Might be a little tricky. I don't know if you guys can see the holes properly with this lighting. Okay, there you go. You can see it. So if you look at a switch here, there's 3 holes in it. And those 2 tiny holes are where the conductor, how you complete the circuit for actually getting your switch to create a symbol on whatever program you're writing on. So an easy way to test your PCB, aka the printed circuit board, the guts of your keyboard, is to grab a pair of tweezers and then push into both holes at the same time while monitoring it in something like VIA and seeing if it registers a key press. If so, you'd have to do that for every single one of these, and it's kind of a laborious process, but at least you'll know right away that something's wrong, or if you're A-okay to continue your build. So I would advise that step. I'm not going to do it because I'm an idiot. Yeah. So now we're going to go on to the main reason why I said you don't actually need to open this up, is because, again, this is a hot swap PCB. What that means is that unlike normal PCBs, where you would need to solder the components to the board, this only requires you to place the switches in, and then you can pull the switches out later, which is really nice. So I'm going to do that. One thing I should mention, which I don't think I did, and is also something that's not really relevant to most people, is that the switch layout on the NK65 is south facing. What that means is there's less likelihood for there to be errors with the keycap sets, as in they won't accidentally be touching as often. However, one downside to that is if you like RGB and you saw this thing gets freaking bright, it will be a little bit reduced because the light will only shine through the bottom part of the keycap, and a lot of legends on keycaps are towards the top. So if that's an issue with you, fair warning. There you go. If you were excited up until this point and that's a deal breaker for you. But for us, who are here now in the present, or the past, or the future, depending on how slow I am to upload this, we're going to install all these Gateron yellows. So now I explained briefly in the last recording that Gateron yellows I went with because they're very similar to MX Cherry Reds, and I demonstrated on my Mixbox that has reds that they feel kind of similar. These feel a little bit better to me, which is good. And also the lifespan is a little bit less, which is bad. However, one upside to Gateron yellows is that they're highly, highly modder friendly, which I'll elaborate more next time. But for the keyboard veterans that are watching, don't worry, I don't plan on using plain old Gateron yellows for long. But for everyone else who's completely new like I was, or currently still am, I'm going to just slap these in the keyboard for now because I really want to just test it. Because the equipment that I require for these has not arrived yet. It'll probably be in a little while, and then I'll make a follow-up part. But installation for this should be fairly simple. I'm curious if I can zoom in one moment. Okay, you know what? I'll just do it at the camera. It might be a little awkward, but bear with me. If you haven't already been bearing with me, honestly. But it's a learning experience. You're bound to mess up a few things. So, if you look at a key switch, you can see that there's several prongs in the back. So these two small prongs, we want to be putting in those two small prongs I told you to test your key switches with. Or not switches, the PCB with. So if we look at the board, facing this way, the hole, get into focus, the holes are at the top. So we want those to be lining up with it, like so. Sorry if that's not really too great of a shot. Nothing I can really do about it until I get some better equipment. And then once the thing is lined up, excuse me, just doing it again, all you have to do is press down and you should hear an audible click. It was pretty audible. But yeah, that thing is nicely in there now. And now we just have to do that a bunch more times. I might time lapse this. You can tell that I'm bad at this because I'm checking to see that the switches are in the right way every time. That's probably slowing me down quite a bit. Random side note, I didn't mention it before, but yellow and purple are complementary colors. So that is also another reason I got these yellows. Not the best reason. I'll explain afterwards a couple of ideas that I had with this keyboard that I might do in the future. because this is right now just my new friendly edition for me and for you guys. But I probably will upgrade this thing someday, and I have some lofty ideals for it. You can really feel it snap into place. So as long as you feel that like pushing sensation of it something latching together, you're doing it right. Probably. I don't trust that switch. Here's the socket. There we go. Let's give this guy a redemption round. No, that switch is bent. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Mr. Camera, focus please. But yeah, that guy's definitely bent. That's unfortunate. -1 key, dude. I mean, I could probably bend it into shape if I wanted to try, but I got extras for a reason. This one's also bent, dude. We lost another one. You can see that prong right there is supposed to be straight up like the one in the back, but... Oh god. Geometry, how do you work? There we go. That thing is hella bent, dude. I bought 100 switches, so 89 are good. So far. All done. I don't even realize how long that took. I'm a little concerned, honestly. But there you go. Nicely popped into place. Now, let's plug this bad boy in. Yeah, you can see, because of these south-facing switches, that it's almost not lighting up at all. I know I turned down the RGB, but still. Actually, let's put it back to 100 so I can actually... Yeah, see? Before it was glaringly bright, but now it's like not even getting picked up on the webcam there. Does look very nice now though, because like at the front you can see the light shine through, and it still has that on the sides. Obviously the RGB is there, but because of the south facing design you're getting a lot less light. But can leave them a little bit brighter now, actually. Probably wouldn't be too bad. So I'm gonna open up Via now. And, oops, that's not what I meant to drag. And I'm actually going to use the key map / tester right here. And we're going to figure out what keys are working. Actually, that would have been cooler had I done, what keys are working? So let's go do that now. So I'm gonna hit escape. Oh god. Oh no. Oh, there we go. The escape button works. We don't have F1. Actually, will it show up in configure as well? It says it's the NK65, which is good. Test matrix. Oh, Oh! Oh, we did it. Yeah, so that should be in line with the design. Let's hit the arrow keys, which I believe are these. Uh-oh. Bottom arrow key's not working. That one's not working either. Now, I don't know if it's because I put the thing in wrong or if the thing broke in transit, but this is why you should be testing. I'll press all the other buttons and then we'll see about reapplying those switches. This one too, huh? That's a problem. Another one. These also... Okay, well, I know that these two are arrow keys, so that's not on me. But sometimes, like, the Windows button or whatever doesn't show up. I tried running the key tester on my Black Widow, and some keys weren't showing up, but yeah. Another one, huh? Another. I think this is the one that I felt a problem with going in, though. So I'm hoping that it's the keys that are the issue and not the PCB. However, if the PCB broke because I put in the broken keys, that's also a problem. So yeah, we have this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and then one over here that are not working. And this is why you use tweezers. So I should have a keycap puller. I'm gonna yoink these keys out and see if that's an issue. Oh dear. Getting some leverage on this bottom row is tough. So if you don't have a keycap puller, you could also use a flathead screwdriver. This is a problem. There's not really too much clearance at the bottom. I could try using tweezers. This keycap puller is kind of shit, if I'm being honest. It's like, it doesn't really bend. Like, you have to put a lot of force into it, because it doesn't really, like, scoop up nicely, and even this part feels flimsy as hell. I might try finding something else, because I do have some flathead screwdrivers somewhere, but, yeah. Don't like that. Don't like the fact that, not there. Let me just switch this back. Oh dear. When I press this button, it is lighting up something. I think this is the FN key. So because the 65% layout keyboard is missing buttons, like it doesn't have F1, etc., you have to press the function key in 1 to get F1, which is now causing these to light up. Does that make this... Ooh, interesting. That's me finding out something there. So... That's how you get delete. Oh dear. I don't know what I just did, but it didn't sound good. Did I just delete everything? Uh-oh. Live panic. Okay, it's back. Still terrified. This menu key? Was there another key that was missing down here when I went in this mode? No. That's all 3 keys that should be there. Down in this are still not working. Okay, give me a minute and I will be back. Okay, I've returned. I tried using this thing and struggling. I did remove 3 of the problem keys, and I found a pair of tweezers. So we're going to just poke these into the holes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Oh, that's not working. Though I will say, I think this is just me being bad issue rather than the tweezer issue. Every keycap that I pulled out was messed up. So it's likely that that was the cause. I straightened this one out, but it was super bent. Still a little bent. Yeah, like this one, completely gone. And I don't know if that's user error on my part or if these were bent when I pulled them out of the box, but as you saw before, a few of these were bent out of the box, so it could be either or, but now we are down to 95 switches. Well, the easiest way to test would be to... Wait, did I not have this plugged in? Configure. Says NK65. Oh god, the technical issues. Okay, it's back. Maybe it just wasn't lighting up because I did something wrong. I did it! You can see it! It lit up! We're good! It's not broken! It was the switch! I'm so happy. Okay, let's hit reset and we're gonna plug a new one in. It works! Okay, so yeah, it's probably the switches that are the problem. Plugging in new ones should work. Let's just find this guy's home. This is the M key. M key works. This one here is broken, the K. I believe the last one was U that was broken. Not U as in you guys, but U as in the letter U. Okay. How am I going to take this out? So I was just grabbing and then using a bit of force to pull this out. Yeah, holy shit, this one. Something crazy happened to this one. Is it in focus? Like, what the hell? Dude. Okay, so we have to remove these 2 keys and replace them with new ones, and then we should be good. So one issue that I'm having is if you look at this, the bottom row is so close to the case that it's hard to get good leverage. Because these are south-facing switches, you need to grab from the top and the bottom to pull out. Work on your pull-out game, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, it's a little tricky, especially with this piece of garbage. But you know, I got the rest out, so I might be able to use my tweezers. Actually, might be a little easier. God, this thing is useless piece of garbage. If you're wondering where I got this, by the way, it came free with my keycaps. So now I'm very skeptical about those keycaps. However, I did buy 2 sets of keycaps, and this is the worst one of the 2. So Surprise. And that bottom left switch is the one you guys want to watch your eyes on. Bam. One more. I should really... One more time my thing's better. This guy has been the problem. The other ones came out fairly difficultly, but this is like last boss. The amount of grinding needed to defeat this switch. Oh god, I just realized I'm gonna have to take these all out again later at some point anyway. By then I hope I have a better keycap puller. I did it. It's out. Huzzah. Yeah, another one snapped prong. Again, I don't know if it's the switches were faulty and I didn't look, or if I broke them trying to apply them. Either way, that sucked. My fingers hurt. One last one to save them all. It works. Oh, thank god it works. Step 1 complete. All of them are in place. I'm gonna unplug this for a second. So, we're on to the next problem. So, fun fact about the NK65. NK65 is a 65% layout keyboard, also known as a 68 key keyboard. And you might be wondering, okay, well, why bring that up now? I bring that up now because most keycap sets are not designed for this particular layout, because the bottom row over here and the arrow keys, or it's like these keys right here, these three, are smaller than average, as well as I believe like the shift up here is smaller than average. What that means is I'll probably have to either cannibalize another set, buy some extra keys, or whatnot. Also, these are weird as well. I'll put up a graphic. It might make things easier to explain. But yeah, though these side keys and the bottom row and the shift button right here, those are all problematic. However, I bought a full 108 keycap set, which is how many keys a full-size keyboard has, and worst case scenario, I might be able to cannibalize some weird keys and place them in there for now, but when I get another keycap set, it should be fine. This is kind of another reason why you should maybe spend a little extra money on buying nice keycaps, because you won't run into this issue. If you're running a 60% keyboard, there's no fucking issue. All of those have standard keyboard button sizes. It's just the fact that the arrow keys are mashed in here in the corner that's causing all these issues on a 65%. But anywho, let's open these up, shall we? I bought some, I think they're called YMDK pudding keycaps. And now that I've actually like played with this board a bit, these might not be the best keycaps for the board. The reason for that is pudding keycaps have an interesting design to them. How they work is that they have a top and they have these sides that kind of look like pudding. And the pudding sides allow light to shine through, so you get more RGB. And as we've explained earlier, you don't really get too much RGB from this board. So this might have been a bad idea. But they were like 30 USD, and a nice set of keycaps is like 150 USD. So for the sake of an entry-level thing, this might be fine. Hopefully, though, my fears of all the keys fitting are not justified. But there are a couple of extra weird keys, so I think I might be fine. Hopefully. Fingies crossed, guys. Fingies crossed. So, setting up these keycaps should be a snap. I'm just gonna go bring up a picture of an NK65 layout just so I know where everything is. Alright, this isn't plugged in. My other keyboard's still plugged in, but it's like all the way over there, so I'm just gonna use this guy to type, even though there's no keycaps. That's M. That's equals. That's not. That's backspace. N. K. That's J. K. That's L. K. 6 5 spacebar. N. Tree. I should have shown you guys the browser, but it was quite hilarious. But thank God I have years of keyboard experience and I know where things are to some extent. You think I would, because I'm saying that I could probably put it together. You know, better to look at a plan sometimes. I've missed T like several times now, so. Also, apparently caps lock is on. Alrighty, let's get to work. So there is hypothetically enough keycaps here that I have a chance. Let's do it. And it should be as simple as just pushing them in. I probably have a knife somewhere. I'm concerned because this thing just came in a shitty plastic bag. It's not in proper housing. So if I open this up, it'll all spill out. But that's part of the fun, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let's grab a knife. Might be easier. Always keep your knife at hand. Durable plastic. So the smart thing to do when setting up a keyboard is generally to put in all the things on stabs. Stabs are stabilizers. So if you look at the board again, anytime you see these little extra doodads right here, those are stabs. Oh dear. So your spacebar, your shift key, stuff like that all require stabs. But first keycap, escape key. Oh dear. Because I want to escape from this nightmare. Oh dear. But it's too late. Oh no. There we go. We can escape. Mission accomplished. Okay, so for this part, I kind of went full streamer mode and just kept talking for like an hour. So I'm just gonna cut out most of the keyboard section and just talk, or I'm just gonna cut out only to the key points of interest. So anytime I say something useful or witty or hilarious, that's it. Just so you know, it's still freaking long. I'm sorry. Oh, the tab key is right next to where the QWERTY row of arrow letter numbers start. That's good to know. I kept hitting this. That's tab. Though to be fair, when playing shooters, I hit tab more frequently than any other button. Same with like Dota style games. I spam tab. It doesn't matter whatever reason. It's just like a nice reflex, you know? So if I was a cool YouTuber, I'd probably just be like, BAM! And then it would be complete, but I don't think that's how that works in reality, so we're gonna live there for a bit. And slowly but surely put these guys on. Also, for people who are curious, I believe this is OEM layout keycaps. If you do end up liking these. There are a lot of different styles of keyboard layouts. However, I did not research well enough this section of the build, which is kind of a problem. Or it might be a problem. We'll see. So if you're curious what I'm doing on my lap, I'm just squeezing it out like toothpaste until I get to the hole that I cut over here. And then pulling them out from the hole. Excellent strategy. Honestly, I feel like Sun Tzu would write about me if he was alive today. For whatever reason, my 8 key, there's a little bit of ping. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not a huge keyboard aficionado yet, so I don't really recognize amazing sounds versus suboptimal sounds per se. But you know, you like what you like. Humans are very subjective. Like with alcohol. I think all alcohol tastes like sweaty butts. And a lot of people enjoy the taste of sweaty butts. But on the other hand, I enjoy coffee. And coffee, to some, tastes like an ashtray. But other people smoke. So, reality is, as long as you like it, that's what matters most. That's what I think, at least. I see why people start off with the things that are supposed to be on stabs. Excuse me, I think I got this thing wedged on there too tight now. Okay, whatever. The reason you start with things with stabs is because they have more holes than the back of the regular keycaps. Therefore, they won't just snap in as easily. So you should probably do these first, like I mentioned at the start. But oh well. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not able to fast forward this bit because of my silly commentary. But yeah, there's like a little hole here with a plus sign. So it literally just snaps in because these are all cross-shaped. He says as he struggles to put it in. You gotta work on your pull-out game and you gotta know how to put it in. Tips with Sinful. Once we put in the QWERTY, everyone's favorite password if you're over the age of 50 that isn't password, I'll give you guys a little update as to the progress. Jajang. So yeah, the main issue with these pudding keycaps is, as you can see, pudding keycaps are shine through, aka the legend will light up with whatever color the RGB of the board is. But again, because the switches are south facing and the legends are at the top of the key, it won't actually be as bright as you think it would be. So I'm curious what will happen when I plug this in. And I'm sure many of you are too. I'm hoping not curious enough to skip ahead. But if you do, at least watch for a little bit after you skip ahead, you know? Or come back. Come back to me. Suffer. And enjoy the ASMR that is a man putting keycaps in as he slowly scoops out keys through a bag like a roll of toothpaste. I'm sure it looks really silly on your end. I should probably move this forward and put this here. It kind of slides off the table though. There we go. Much better. Professionalism. Well, it's kind of the opposite of professionalism. It's more like adapting to the situation at hand. It does make it easier to slide along though. Could you slide along multiple of these keys, you're probably wondering at home? I don't know. We should try. So is this supposed to be a shift or is this supposed to be caps lock? This is a shift. What the hell is this? It doesn't say caps lock on it. I never use the caps lock button anyway. It's where the caps lock button would be. Oh dear. That's got a little rattle to it. It's not like pressing down evenly. I mean, I'm never gonna hit that button ever. I think caps lock is a useless key. Don't at me, especially if you press this button. I'm afraid and not interested in talking to you the most. But yeah, that doesn't feel good. Like, I feel like that should also have stabilizers. Okay, let's test the theory of multiple keys at once. Yep, no, that went well. Probably should have been doing that. God, that sounds awful. Feels bad too. Wonder if that's an issue with the key being too big. If it's an issue with me putting it in wrong. It's an issue with this key was supposed to be stabilized, but it's not. That's a lot of possible problems, you know? Can I use this useless thing to pull this out? How does this even work? Does it scoop in from the sides? It's so malleable and weak. What the hell? Normally I thought keycap... This is so bad. Reminder, this keycap puller came with this keycap set. So, if you need a keycap puller... It took the switch with it. It took the switch with it. I'm so mad. Damn you. I guess it was in there pretty nicely if the switch came with it. Alright, forget you. I might have to pull up VIA just to make sure that this button is working. Ah, man. Well, this is going to be a spoiler as to what the end result's going to look like, I guess. I didn't really see it light up. It says it's on. Key tester. Nope, that switch is no longer working. Yeah, that didn't go in very well. That does not want to come out. Let's put that back. Break. No. Looks good. There we go. But the button is not working. Oh, it's not registering anything anymore for some reason. Okay, the button's working. Everything's fine. Why did the lights turn off? Oh, I turned them off. I'm an idiot. Not a spoiler then. Didn't spoil it. Didn't ruin it for later. I'll turn the lights back on afterwards. I guess I just have to live with the shittiness that is this caps lock key. Which is unfortunate. Also, mystery solved. That shows if caps lock is on. It turns blue. We out here, learning, discovering, together. Truly we are on the path of sin. Okay. Well, the whole point of making a series like this, because there will be other topics I'll cover in the future, or have already covered. I don't know when the hell this video is going to come out. Is to learn things. And god damn it, if me exclaiming over a blue light is not learning, I don't know what it is. Probably like a degree that I'm not using. That's probably learning. Some of these feel like better than others. I don't know how to put it. From my understanding, there's several types of keyboard plastic. There's ABS plastic, and then there's PBT. And I believe ABS is like the cheap plastic you'd find on like a membrane keyboard and like all the terrible keyboards. But ABS plastic is, or PBT plastic is the good stuff. And now I can show you with the enter key. If you look on the back, it has multiple holes because you need to plug in all the stabilizers as well. Would you look at that? What key did I lose? Because I got the enter out. I am missing the quotations. Are you my quotations? Did I somehow push you up? Leave a comment if you saw what I did with the quotations. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I just noticed the G is over here. How'd the G get here? If I had 2 of these, I'd put them up. Because I freaking lost. Alright, well. Keycap puller to the rescue again. Rescue is subjective. It takes the whole damn thing out. God damn you. I missed the G so long ago. It's right next to the F, which is what I am currently. F'd. I hate this. I hate this so much. If I just pull out all these keys, it might be easier. If they all come out with each other, you know? Because I've put them in very snugly, apparently. Oh my god. The vets are out here cringing. The non-keyboard enthusiasts are out here laughing. And everyone else is like, oh god, I hope that doesn't happen when I do this. In which case, if you go out of your way to get into mechanical keyboards because of me, let me know. Because that would make me happy to find out. Son of a bitch. Yeah, this thing's gonna take out the key, switch, and the cap with it. Every time. Wait, but then this key is naked. This doesn't my plan. I just want the cap. I don't want the switch. Can I take out just the cap with this use? No, that doesn't work. Dude. What strength do I have? Okay, let's take that out. Okay, that came out this time. Put the switches back into place. We hope that they didn't break. I'm too lazy to open up VIA again to check. I mean, I still have it, like, open. I just don't want to switch to the menu and show you guys and do all that. You know, let's live with some suspense. Then when I put all the keycaps on, we can be like, oh no! He messed up the keyboard! And now you have some suspense for watching. It's good storytelling. G! This keyboard build brought to you by the letter G, if you were wondering. Because G, golly, I have been screwed over by that G key. Okay, so this goes right next to the enter. Shoutouts to you guys who saw my impending doom coming before it happened. Because I'm having a giggle now, but it is a little annoying. But you know, this is a laborious process when you think about it. Take out the whole thing, why don't you? So long, H. You're going to H. Get in there, you nerd. That is so. Such a strange feeling that the Switch comes out. Honestly, remember when I was struggling to take out the Switches earlier and how easily they're coming out now? This thing is a Switch puller. You just need the keycap also, because it takes the whole damn thing out. It's like ripping a tree out of the ground. You have problem with stump? Just lift out whole tree. Sorry, my Russian accent's not great, but I've been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov lately, and I just have Russian on the brain, man. My whole like everything is just counted in rubles now. It's terrible. I have a craving for borscht. That the Switch didn't come out. This is the chosen one. Which key are you? It's the K key, which I think was broken earlier. This Switch that I replaced it with is godly. This thing, kudos to you, my friend. Holy moly. Yeah, that was a good replacement. You know, I'm like L2. But you know when you fire someone and you're like, man, I mean, most people probably don't know this feeling. But when you like get someone out of your group or whatever and you're like, ah, man, they brought so much stuff to my group and I'm gonna miss them. And then you hire the new guy and the new guy is so much better than they were. That is the K-switch right there. You know, sometimes goodbyes are sad, but other times goodbyes are so much happier than you realize at the time. So back to my previous point, they have multiple plugin things because they had to go into the stabilizer. Come on, old chap. You can hear a little bit of ringing there, which all the super keyboard bros and gals, sisses? No, that sounds weird. But all the keyboard enthusiasts, they're very annoyed by this sound. But don't worry, someday it'll be fixed. It's not in this video. I'm sorry to say it. This is how it is. I just don't have the resources on me physically. I ordered them. Don't worry. You know what's up. I'm shouting out you guys. If you know what it is, put it in the comments. If you don't, read the comments. Or don't. Be surprised by the next video. I like that one better. But you know, some people can't wait. I understand. I'm not angry at you. I sympathize. But you know, life is better if you can be a little patient sometimes. Maybe the surprise is actually better than the feeling of obtaining the thing, you know? I know that feeling, at least. Sometimes you buy something for yourself or you get a present and you're like, man, I've been wanting this for so long. The anticipation is often more exciting than the actual thing, depending on what it is. And same thing goes with surprises. The idea of something being a surprise tends to be more exciting than whatever the surprise actually is. Sometimes it's not. And those are really good things. But, you know, like maybe you're having a child and you wanted to be a parent. Stuff like that. But other times, yeah, it's you were better off just holding your breath and waiting, I think. Because in life, sometimes you should be out there trying to, like, making the most of what you got, right? And one surprise that you sit and marinate on might be way better than learning, like, 5 new things. You know? I say might, because sometimes you learn something new, like blue light! Oh wait, I unplugged it. And... like, blue light! Blue light! And it makes you so excited, you know? Thanks if you're watching me put in keycaps, by the way. You the real OG. Maybe I should just leave this unedited. just for you guys. So here we come up to a problem. This is the right shift, which I never use, but it's on a keyboard. So key switches are measured in units. A standard switch like this is 1 unit, aka 1U. This shift that's supposed to go here is clearly too big to fit, because that is actually a 1.75 U hole. So that was the main concern, is this shift right here. There might be another key somewhere in this bag that's 1.75 U, but for now we cannot put in this shift because it is very large. Not thick, just large. Key difference. Some people think it's the same. True, sophisticated individuals like you and I, you know that large and thick are not technically the same. I am large and thick, but parts of me are thick and parts of me are large. And you should be aware of the difference. I'm gonna unplug this now because I'm about to put in the Windows key. I don't want it popping up on me. Goodbye, my blue light. Side note, blue light is extremely essential for survival because it increases like your cognitive function and it makes you more awake and it regulates your melatonin cycle and whatnot. So that's why people wear blue blocker glasses, because if they're doing computer use, I believe my glasses are actually blue blockers. They don't absorb as much blue light, therefore it doesn't slow down your production of melatonin, which makes you sleep at a regular time. So if you're constantly working on your computer or playing games or whatever super late into the night, you're staying wired because the light being emitted by your computer has blue light in it, which is why blue blocker lights are good and the blue light filters are good. Hilariously, pure blue light can be so like awakening, like it'll make you so wired that's actually pretty bad for you, which is why submarines use red lights. Because red lights have some of the effect of blue light, but it's nowhere near as potent. And because submarines need light because they're underwater for long periods of times, that's why whenever you look at a good, authentic submarine shot, it's bathed in a lot of red light. That is Sinful's fun fact for the day. So, I heard cool kids put their spacebar in backwards because it's more ergonomic feeling. I kind of want to try it. So I believe you're supposed to put... So the normal way of putting it in would be like this, where you put the long side down. But I'm going to be putting it in like this. Like this. Like this. I'll get it right at one point, where the flat is at the bottom. And that'll be easier to press with your thumb, because typically you press the spacebar with the bottom of your thumb. So it should be easier to click that way. That's just what I heard on the street, you know? Whether or not that's true, whether or not my computer will like it, by computer I mean keyboard, is to be seen. That feels pretty good though. Doesn't sound very good, but it feels very good. But yeah, now we backwards spacebar gang. So they will hire us for something or other. Probably. Also, I'm an idiot. Remember how I opened up that picture of the keyboard layout earlier? I'm still looking at it. I'm not looking at it. It is pretty much in order in the bag. But oh well. Sometimes it comes in handy. Like, what do I put in here? Alt, FN, or... Oh, I see. If, if I was to show you a picture, the picture I'm looking at currently, you guys would get a laugh. Because, the guy didn't really put anything there. They're missing keycaps. Oh, that's good. These should all fit. Actually, maybe not. So these need to be 1U units. If you look at, let me just grab the tilde, which is one of my favorite buttons on the keyboard. If you look at these two, you can see that the Alt is actually slightly bigger. So we need a 1U unit here, which means I could actually just use this tilde or something. There's also a couple other weird buttons that I could use, so that's not too big of a deal. The main issue is the shift. That's the problem. I believe this shift and this shift are the same, or maybe this caps lock is the same. So if I can find another key that's the same size as this caps lock, actually, honestly, the fact that this is a down arrow and this is an up arrow would be really cool aesthetically. Then I can just put something else here. Also, VIA allows you to change the buttons in your keyboard, and the fact of the matter is I never use caps lock, so I could put something way more useful there. Like, I don't know, muffin button. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now we can work out what the hell we do about the FN Alt control. I've never really used this side of the keyboard. Like, I tend to avoid it in general, which is why I went with a 65% layout anyway. I do like the arrow keys though, and I wanted to keep that, and a 60% keyboard does not have arrow keys, so something to keep in mind. There is an FN, I think that's 1U right here, and right here, and right here. There's 3 FN keys. I could technically put all 3 FN keys in. That might work. Ooh, is this mythical 1.75 millimeters unit doodad? Shift? Is that you? Is this one keyboard set enough to save me? I hope that fits. Oh, for the love of God, I hope that... It's gonna fit! It fits! I don't think it's the right profile, but it fits. Oh, I'm so happy. That means at least it's usable, especially considering I never use right shift. Who knows, maybe I will after switching to 65%, but I doubt that huge character changes like that happen overnight, so. Damn, dude, I'm thrilled. Dude, I am so much happier now. It seems like it's all coming together. You have no idea how much panic I was in. There's not really too many resources out there for new keyboard people, which is why I'm kind of half hoping that some other new people click on this that don't know about the hobby yet. And one of the main things is keycap sizes. Like, there's some resources for it, but oftentimes not enough. Actually, this page up is different from this page up. And also, this also is a page up. And that also is a page up. How many page ups are there? Jesus Christ. Dude, we're a page up gang. I mean, they're all probably in different profiles now that I think about it. But yeah, profiles. So there's different profiles for different rows on the keyboard, thus giving each key a slight different shape. If I show you like this, you can see the different profiles because all the keys are coming out at different heights and they're like slanting down at different angles. I'm trying to see if I can show you guys better. The bag is slipping onto my crotch. Oh, this one of these is page down, one of these is page up. 2 of these are page up. So I put a page up in the keyboard, and I got 2 more page ups. So if we have enough of these, we can be on the front page of Reddit. I believe that is how this works. I hope that this only takes out the keycap. Thank you. I'm just gonna compare. Oh my thickness. These are both page up keys, but one is much thicker than the other by a large margin. Jesus. I don't know if this is supposed to be the right page up, but goddamn, other boy's chunk. This kind of feels similar. You can tell what your profile is by comparing it to the keys next to it, because all these rows should be the same. This is page down as well. Oops. Probably a little harder to compare it here. It seems about right. Either way, it's going there. I don't really press page up or page down very frequently either. I mostly just use these as like extra keys for like macros or like OBS. I have so many goddamn page ups. Did I put back the same page up? No, I didn't. Well, I have a different one if I don't like this one, which I don't think I do. It's kind of high. You know, if you keep using your page ups, eventually you'll find the one for you. I hope we all find our page up. What's the last one? End? There's an end right here. Speaking of which, I am rewatching Evangelion because the 3.1 movie trailer dropped again, or a new one did, and I'm pretty stoked. I actually didn't watch Evangelion until last year, which is wild because I consider myself a big weeb. But I really enjoyed it. It's a shame I didn't watch it when I was a kid, when it would have been a little bit more impactful. But, you know, it's better late than never. Let me know who's best girl. Ray. The other one, Kappa. Oh no. This is the problem when you do things live. Gosh, why can't I remember her name? Not Shirley. Sorry. I like Shirley. There's nothing wrong with Shirley. Don't hate me. I know there's a lot of Tsundere fans out there, and she's like the OG hot and cold lady, but you know. It's not like Ray's an amazing character either, but being honest, it's just her name is more unique. Or Makoto. Misato? Misato. That's her name. Misato might be best girl. Let's be real. Okay, so one of these is supposed to be control, one of these is supposed to be alt, and one of these is supposed to be function. And I believe I got a control right here. Hell yeah, brother. These are very similar profile. I'm more or less just going by feel here, because I don't know any better. But holy shit, all the keys might actually fit on the keyboard, which I think is more impressive than anything. Because I didn't think this would work. I was actually tempted to just buy a bunch of 1U switches, just in case. And also a separate 1.75 millimeter or unit shift. Like, this one doesn't feel good. Like, for whatever reason, there's like some residue at the top and it just doesn't feel nice. And also it looks like it's jutting out in a weird way that I don't really like. So that's probably a problem anyway. But I was like so tempted to grab some like random switches that I knew would fit. But I'm glad that I just went the lazy route. It didn't do anything. Because luckily this thing actually had everything I needed. And then some. Look at all this random stuff in the bag. But yeah, I believe that is us. Done. I gotta get used to the backwards facing spacebar. It looks cool. from my end, it looks a lot better. Like if I flip it around for you guys where you can't see it, it looks nicer. But there we go. All the keys are in. Not the best looking key set, mind you, but for $30, the fact that it all fits in, you can't be mad at that. Also, I picked it up on Amazon. I'm probably going to put a list of all the parts at the end and my totals. Maybe I'll do some more commentary afterwards. But now for the moment of truth. I'm going to try. I'll put away all this stuff on my own time. I won't put you guys through my cleanup. Let's plug her in. God, there's so many keycaps. So many. They're everywhere. Let's open up Via. Actually, before we open up, or before I show you guys Via, let's turn the lights on to max, shall we? Just to see. You know, not bad. You can see the light through these very nicely. It went out of focus there. And honestly, because you can still see the white, it works out pretty well, because I went with like a white and black, purple theme in general for my whole look. Yeah, I'm happy. Like, it's, even with the brightest possible setting, it looks good. I wonder if I can set it to like a static color. Solid color 1. That's red. I'll find, can I put in custom hex values? That would be nice. This is solid white now. It doesn't look white, it looks kind of green from my end. Sure that's white? Oh, wait. Via? Let me make the window bigger. Maybe I goofed up somewhere. Oh, oh. Sorry, I use 3000 DPI sensitivity on my mouse. On rare occasions when windows aren't behaving properly, things can go awry. Okay, now I was acting like that way because the window was too small. And I had the checkbox open. It's actually pretty easy to deal with now. Okay, let's set it to white. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's a little bluish green for me. I think it's using a blue and green light to make the white light, which doesn't make any sense. But you can kind of see it vaguely. It could also be how it's interacting with the purple. Either way, that's a little bit of a headache. Maybe let's try a solid purple color. Oh yeah, that looks good. That is quite nice. Bump that up a little bit, make it darker, make it brighter. That's max brightness, no brightness. Yeah, the south-facing switches kind of defeat the purpose of having pudding keycaps, but that means that having GMK keycaps, which typically aren't shine-through, probably more bang for your buck on this, especially because the RGB doesn't really matter. I think I can say that, having experienced it now with the keycaps that make the most out of RGB, probably doesn't matter. I'll mess around with the effects later, but there's a lot. You can see I switched it to solid color. There's other things, like I can switch the alphas and the mod colors. So like the outside keys. So like the outside keys would be different from the actual like lettering. Stuff like that. Let's just put it back on rainbow for now, and I'll tweak that later. Then we're going to go into the key matrix again and just make sure all buttons are working properly. Multi-key rollover seems to be good. Probably move this box out of the way again, sorry. Very unprofessional of me, I know. Oh dear. I think I activated a hotkey for OBS. Oh god. I don't think this has an insert, but I binded my mic to insert. So if I accidentally muted myself several times, I'm gonna be so annoyed when reviewing the footage. I don't think that's the case though. Yep, every key is working beautifully. I'm gonna just turn off my air filter. I don't think it's gonna show up in the video regardless, because I have a noise gate. Well, let's get some typing ASMR. Gonna move my microphone back to where I normally have it. Again, I have a noise gate, so I don't know how well this will sound, but not the craziest, but that silicone dampening mat that's in the back of here, it makes a huge difference. Like, I think if my mic wasn't this close, I probably wouldn't be picking up that much sound, especially when I'm actually talking. It's kind of impeccable. Like, I had silent switches in my old keyboard, and this isn't making very much noise at all. And that's without what's coming next. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this first little foray into custom mechanical keyboards. It's been a learning journey for me. I guess, you know, a lot of people end these with speed tests. Maybe I should go to open up a speed test. I haven't done a speed test in so long, and I kind of wish I had a control. I don't actually know how fast I'll be able to type on this thing. What's a good speed testing website? Alrighty, I think I have found a type test that we can use. Fair warning, because I've never used a 65% keyboard, I'm probably gonna have a little bit of sluggishness just because I'm not really used to the layout yet. But yeah, here goes. Best of luck to me and you and all the people with nothing to do. I don't know if I should be looking at the keyboard. Normally I don't. Mic is kind of in the way for that. Well, I'll deal with it. We'll deal. Sorry about that. Not even 100. I could definitely do better, but that was a pretty satisfying feeling. The backwards spacebar, yeah, you all gotta try that. That is quite a feeling. But yeah, that concludes the first part of this path to sin on keyboards. I'll probably take a nicer quality picture later, but there it is. I should probably come up with a name for this. So, for you guys who don't know, my mix box is named Dionysus. Because it's made out of a wine box. So if you have a name for my keyboard, feel free to drop that in the comments or something. I'd be curious, because if not, I'll name it myself. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. And on the next one, this is going to be special, but you're going to need something that Belle Delphine might need. And also some of these. So keep it simple, keep it classy. I'll see you guys another night. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that garbage. Probably should have said at the beginning of the video, not a YouTuber. Take care, everyone. Sweet dreams.